I gotta say, guys, this year is a massive improvement over 2023. And even though I did make sacrifices here and there, and other schedules from 2023 are better than this year, mainly Halloween Mania, but at the same time, I really had a blast when it came to the vibes that I created for this year, when it came to the decisions that I made when it comes to Summerpalooza 5 Steven Universe Marathon, and having the ability to make more videos since I finished that schedule in March of this year. I have to say that this year was honestly a lot more fun when it came to the experiences that I have accomplished. But at the same time, this year was also difficult to put together when it came to the ideals here and there. And when it comes to 2025, truth be told, I know full well it's not going to be able to top this year, but it's a possibility that it's not even going to top 2023 whatsoever. Since I've gotten a lot more stress after working on some videos for January and February, which are the months that I have set up for the following year. 2025 is going to be a difficult year because, truthfully, it could be a flip-floppy year on schedules that could happen or could not happen, and I really need to address what's really important when it comes to the plans of 2025. Let's get the elephant out of the room. Summerpalooza 6 Quake of the Creek Marathon. I really feel like that this is something that needs to be addressed because while I am still considerate on doing a Quake of the Creek Marathon with it having the most votes, with almost 200 people voting on which cartoon I should do a marathon out of, it won't change the fact that this marathon will most likely not happen in the summer of 2025, mainly July and August. And if there's one thing I need to mention is that I'm only going to do Summerpalooza 6 in July and August, not including days in June and September. Considering that in June I'm going to be returning LGBT month, which is going to be a month where I'm gonna try to reach 10 reviews off of LGBT material and possible fanfics, but we're gonna get to that later. When it comes to Quake of the Creek, with the days in July and August minus weekends, there are 44 days. 44 days where I'm gonna be possibly reviewing 42 episodes of Quake of the Creek with 2 videos reviewing all the episodes of Capture the Flag and Heart of the Forest. Keep in mind, I haven't watched Heart of the Forest yet, but I really don't want to overwhelm myself into rewatching it, despite the fact that it's an important mini-series when it comes to the character developments and the finale, which is possibly better than the finale of Capture the Flag. The thing is that I want Quake of the Creek Marathon to be special, but at the same time, it's not going to be like Steven Universe Marathon where I review all the episodes, because I would have done that months ago, which will have had a lot of sacrifices with the schedules that I'm attempting to set up for 2025. The thing is that I really feel like that the episodes that I have to pick out yet when it comes to Quake of the Creek needs to be really good. Similar to when I did We Bear Bears Month back in July of 2021, where I picked the best episodes and the most important ones. And even though that it is a shame that I didn't end up reviewing all the episodes from We Bear Bears, keep in mind, I don't need to do the same thing when it comes to Quake of the Creek, because unlike Steven Universe, Quake of the Creek, while a show people are going to miss upon the new year arriving, at least in January 5th, while the show officially ends, this show, despite catching my interest a lot more, isn't something that I would consider on reviewing all the episodes. Like, there is variety here and there, and there's a reason onto why I'm continuing my fanfic crossover of Steven Universe of the Creek, which I am considering on uploading fanfic readings of it on the weekends. But keep in mind, I don't need to try way too hard into making this marathon really spectacular, because this is basically 1/3 of Steven Universe marathon. Well, 44 episodes, while still a lot, well technically 42, is a much more better number, and I can instantly handle that because when I was doing Steven Universe marathon, I did 70 episode reviews before this year arrived, 2024. And while it may be different when it comes to tastes and cartoons, comparison to Steven Universe and Craig of the Creek, I am going to attempt, I'm probably not going to have an issue on doing episode reviews of it when we head into late winter, because I'm pretty sure I can be able to handle that, since my walk of doing Steven Universe Marathon started from September 2023 and ended on March of 2024. That doesn't include fanfic readings or music videos. So it's a possibility that I'm gonna be able to complete Quake of the Creek Marathon when I get the chance. But if I don't have the ability to do Summerpalooza 6, I might postpone Quake of the Creek for my January and February schedules for 2026. It may be a long time, but keep in mind, I don't know what I'm going to be feeling, because after doing my January and February schedules, I really need to take a break off of half of February and the entirety of March. I do consider on returning towards the end of March, but at the same time, I really don't want to be so overwhelmed with doing a schedule that showcases me doing other reviews, which is really a shame, because I do want to go back to regular schedules after doing Summerpalooza 5 and Halloween Mania 2, but even when you still get exhausted. You still get exhausted no matter what, to the point that you end up having second thoughts into reconsidering what you should really need in the meantime. With that being said, the schedules they have set up for February and January, well, January is a regular schedule. February is where I return Valentine's Half Month with the 6th edition, and this time I have 14 reviews set up. 14 reviews, and it was a pain to put them together, which is why I really needed a break afterwards, because truthfully, needing a break is bound to happen after doing Summerpalooza 5 Steven Universe Marathon, since I wasn't considering on doing Halloween Mania 2 after having second thoughts. And truthfully, my mind has made up that I'm going to be taking a break off of a month and a half up until the end of March. Hopefully, there's a chance my ability to make videos will come back. And I really hope that there's a chance that my ability of doing Quick of the Quick Marathon will still be active in some other way. Before I continue on with my other plans, one thing I need to mention is that, similar to We Bet Bells from 2021, I'm going to be reviewing one episode from Quick of the Quick per month. I did it with January and February, and I'm going to attempt to at least review one episode from that show for March, April, May, June, September, October, November, and December. And when it comes to the spin-off, the Jessica spin-off, I really wanted to do a video off of it for Quake of the Creek Marathon, but it's gonna be really painful when it came to the other two long videos, mainly Capture the Flag and Heart of the Forest. So, since September is gonna be the anniversary of the Jessica spinoff, mainly the spinoff becoming 2 years old once we get to that month. I'm gonna be uploading that on its second anniversary, which is honestly better rather than just using all the source and power to make all of it happen for a Quicker the Quick marathon. Granted, it's just 1 month away, since I know for a while that Capture the Flag and Heart to the Force may be in the same month in August, but still. I just don't want to overwhelm myself, and truthfully, 44 videos for Quicker the Quick Marathon is honestly a lot more better, considering I can pick the best episodes and use some episodes to keep you guys occupied for 1 video per month. And when it comes to the Sleepover Chronicles, I might consider on wrapping up 2025 with that video, because I am going to be reviewing all the episodes of having the Sleepover Chronicles, which I also going to attend on reviewing for Quicker the Quick Marathon, but that would be a lot more painful to put together. I'm just saying, there are ways to make this work, but in some occasions, the only way to make it work is to divide them in some other way, which is something I should have done, but then again, it's always me just reconsidering what I should do and what makes people a little happy. But then again, I need to also make myself feel happy. When it comes to other projects, getting back to LGBT month 2, I am considering on doing 2 fanfics planned, but at the same time, it's going to be difficult to reconsider because truthfully, doing a fanfic has becoming a lot more draining despite the worth of reward of the reception it gets once it's published. Isn't mean anything? Well, LGBT month is a month that I do want to do, but when it comes to fanfics, it's literally not something I would reconsider. I just really feel like that there are all ideas I want to do involving LGBT month by showcasing what I do for Pride Month, similar to what I did in June of 2022, but Mains of Optimistic Pride, which was the LGBT fanfic that I did, was a fanfic that I've kept on hold for way too long, and I did try to continue it, but due to my overwhelmed nature, it just wasn't the fanfic that clicked to me in the same ways as other fanfics like Steven Universe Other Quick, which is a shame, but at the same time, those things just can't be able to continue, and even if I do continue, it's just going to be a drag to get to. So, the ideals of doing fanfics of having LGBT would be better off as one-shots, similar to what I did with Christmas in the years of 2022 and 2023, sorry. Mainly the fact that I don't have to try too hard, and even though that those fanfics might get long, it doesn't change the fact that it would have been better off if I just keep them as one-shots rather than chapters, because if I have to do chapters, it has to be a really good idea in order to make it increasingly investing when it comes to doing characters interacting and having more lore being included in the chapters. So with that being said, I am considering on doing Lonely Vibes of 3 projects, possible projects. My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, and also used to be in a brony. And since I used to be a brony after giving up on being a brony 2 years ago, truthfully, I really feel like that this is a video I really wanted to do, but I didn't know when it's possible to do it. The thing is, it has to be at the right time on doing a video like this, and the other Lonely Vibes projects I'm considering on is my reactions, which I still do reactions, but not a lot, for good reason. And the other is Steven Universe, which is way low on my list considering the marathon that I dedicated to it in the summer of this year. Truthfully, it's gonna take a while for me to reconsider on doing the Lonely Vibes involving Steven Universe and my experiences in 2026 rather than 2025, because I really feel like I don't even have the ability to talk about Steven Universe aside from the crossover that I've mentioned earlier. So before we continue on, speaking of 2026, let's bring back the votes that I did involving the 3 shows that I've wanted to do for Summerpalooza 6 Marathon. And the third option that was put in at the last minute was OKKO Let's Be Heroes. Truthfully, I am mostly reconsidering on doing an OKKO marathon, but at the same time, it's also the last minute decision that I wanted to include for a possible marathon for next year, because Quake of the Quake and Amphibia were the top choices, and the consideration on including OKKO is mainly the fact that people really love this show for good reason, and I can understand that people are really thrilled on having more people express their opinions on it, but at the same time, I still didn't watch the entirety of the show, mainly the fact that it got removed on HBO Max and my depression really increased to the point that it kept me from binge watching this show, and doing the marathon out of it is literally the only way, because I've becoming a lot more picky on doing binge watching of some sort, and truthfully, this is the only way I'm ever going to get back into the show. Granted, if I am going to do a Summerpalooza marathon of OKKO in 2026, I would give it more slots when it comes to including June and September schedules, but at the same time, it's still early to reconsider. There are a lot more episodes in this compared to Quake of the Quake, but then again, there's also the possibility that Summerpalooza 7 or 6 in 2026 may not happen. But I might consider on doing OKKO, even though it could be last minute decisions. I'm just saying, if you guys enjoy this show, I understand that people have expressed that this show has been slept on for far too long, which for good reason, but at the same time, I have to be in a certain mood in order to make it happen, in the same ways of what I'm feeling on doing the Quake of the Quake marathon for next year, or 2026. When it comes to other projects, I am considering on revisiting a couple of episodes that I've talked about in the past, mainly Beck's Big Break, but then again, that's also way low on my list. But what I'm considering, even if it's not likely that I'm gonna be doing it for 2025, is mainly talking about Dan Schneider. Well, mostly people have went through the situations, as in Jeanette McCurdy and Alexa, but keep in mind, when I talked about iCarly and Victorious episodes, I really tried to keep Dan out of it, and when it comes to me discussing Dan, it would basically be me just expressing on the allegations and basically the atmosphere that was toxic when it comes to the shows that he made. And honestly, I don't side with him completely, but at the same time, I'm not one of those people who are going to view as his shows as terrible, because I still view Dan Schneider's shows really good. It's just that I don't usually hammer in on him being that terrible. He is a terrible guy, but at the same time, I'm not one of those drama channels. And me considering on doing the video centering around him is just me expressing how I feel. But it's gonna be a difficult video to do that. And with the multiple projects going on in 2025, it's probably gonna be postponed for 2026. But then again, there are multiple ideas that could be postponed in 2026. When it comes to the schedules that aren't holidays, which I'm going to get to later, I am considering on reviewing the most noticeable episodes, since that I did say I wanted to do a Ghost and Molly McGee week by reviewing 5 episodes, but that's going to be really unlikely because of how stressful I am. So I am going to review the most well-known episodes, mainly the fact that it showcases of why I appreciate these shows a lot more, to where it's really difficult to consider on going back to these shows and thinking of accepting what you get due to the reality of what is going on with these shows. I'm just saying, by the time of this recording, I haven't planned out for my schedules once I have the consideration of returning in late March. I have a few videos planned in my head, but at the same time, it's a possibility that these ideals themselves are most likely going to be scrapped in favor of other projects, mainly LGBT month and Quake of the Creek Marathon, which it's going to be difficult to get back into regular schedules, judging of how I skipped Christmas this month, which I really have second thoughts onto skipping Christmas again for next year, but at the same time, we haven't gone there yet, and I really need to reconsider on balancing my schedules. So, when it comes to Halloween and Christmas next year, I'm not doing Halloween Mania again. It's not going to happen. When it comes to Christmas, I am going to try to find Christmas reviews in favor of not doing Christmas reviews this year, but at the same time, the Gravity Falls Christmas fanfic was a lot more painful to put together, which is mostly the sacrifice of me not doing Christmas reviews for this year. Granted, it is a shame, but at the same time, it comes to a point while Christmas, while one of my favorite holidays, just isn't like it was years prior. Honestly, in my heart and soul, I'm making Christmas really good. Is honestly better off with the Gravity Falls Christmas fanfic, because truthfully, it was more than enough, and it was a lot more stressful to put together in the months that I put by doing 15 chapters. Granted, I do have ideas on doing Christmas fanfics for next year, but at the same time, it's gonna be difficult. Let me tell you, it's not gonna be easy if I'm gonna be placed in a corner on doing Christmas fanfics. There are probably gonna be one-shots, and with one Christmas fanfic that is probably gonna be a chapter fanfic, I really hope it's not gonna be as long as Gravity Falls Christmas fanfic, because I really don't, and it's gonna be a lot more painful. When it comes to Halloween, before I get into the Mabel Gravity Falls video, it's probably better off if I just upload Halloween videos for Sunday and Wednesday. I do consider on uploading videos on Fridays for LGBT month, but when it comes to Halloween, I should just rather play it safe, because while Halloween is still in my blood, I really don't need to go overwhelmed. I don't want to go overboard by reviewing multiple Halloween material when it comes to doing Halloween Mania all over again, which I don't, and Halloween movies, because truthfully, I did have thoughts on doing Christmas movies for Christmas for next year, but Halloween, like I said in Lonely Vibes, it's just not in my blood and I don't want to go too stressed. if I am ever going to do Halloween movies, it will have to be a dedicated Halloween Mania 3 with a different edition of reviewing multiple Halloween movies. So, when it comes to the Mabel project, the views that I got from my Gravity Falls analysis, Dipper, Wendy, and Robbie's misdirected arc, it's also highly unlikely. I am planning on uploading that project possibly in November, since it's where the 10th anniversary of the second Weird Mageddon episode happened, but at the same time, I'm just not really into Gravity Falls currently, and since I did a fanfic of it involving 15 chapters, it's likely that that video may happen in 2026. I'm just saying, my opinions towards Mabel are really mixed, and the fact that it's really difficult to find sympathy towards her, even though that she isn't responsible for causing Weird Mageddon to happen, I have to admit that there was more to her character, but at the same time, it's also a reason that Gravity Falls hasn't aged when it comes to having 2 seasons. I'm just saying, I'm not like the people who glorify Gravity Falls or found it as one of the best shows. There's a point where the show itself just isn't everyone else's taste when it comes to glorifying it. When it comes to movies, this is going to be a bit tricky because I did have consideration on reviewing Jurassic World for its 10th anniversary in June, despite with LGBT month happening during that time. And when it comes to the other project, I was considering on revisiting Son of the Mask, but also comparing it to The Mask, which no one has done because obviously Son of the Mask is a much more terrible movie that really damages the credibility on making multiple sequels. But at the same time, I don't hate Son of the Mask as much as other people, and considering my review of it back in 2017 is completely outdated, especially since that part 1 has been taken out due to copyright, even though I haven't played data footages of it. This is honestly a better opportunity to do a video centering around these 2 movies, because I was considering on doing it to celebrate Son of the Max's 20th anniversary, since the second half of February, days after Valentine's Day, is the 20th anniversary of Son of the Max. But then again, I don't need to celebrate an anniversary like I did with the schedule that I did in November, mainly celebrating the SpongeBob movie after 20 years after it came out, and also Big Time Rush that was 15 years old, as in the TV show. The thing is that it's gonna be difficult to do these types of projects when it comes to celebrating their anniversaries, and I really don't need to do that. And if I'm ever going to do The Max versus Son of the Max, it has to be at a time while I have nothing planned. Mainly doing videos for Summerpalooza 6 among other holiday schedules. So hopefully there's a chance I might do The Max versus Son of the Max in 2025, as long as I have the chance. Just keep in mind, it is going to be a lot more difficult to pick which video that is for the right time for 2025. I just don't want to up my game like I did with this year, because it took a lot of sacrifices on doing other projects for this year, especially since I had to work Steven Universe videos from September 2023 through March of 2024. And while it still gave me the confidence into doing Quick of the Quick Marathon, since it's 1/4 of Steven Universe Marathon, 1/3. Just keep in mind, a lot of changes can happen. And when it comes to cartoons that I'm going to be discussing for the first time, I am considering on doing it as I used to, even though it's going to be difficult for me to get into these shows. I am going to be reviewing the first episodes, and I might consider on reviewing them in time. The latest Disney Channel cartoon is going to be coming out next month, and I am considering on reviewing it in time before February arrives. And when it comes to other projects, I did talk about Hazbin Hotel, but at the same time, that doesn't automatically mean that I want to review another episode, especially since Season 2 is on the way. I am considering on reviewing another episode from Hazbin Hotel, since that I'm getting straight to episode 6, but at the same time, I really need to make sure I remember everything from that episode, since that I am considering on reviewing it for my April or May schedules, but then again, we don't know what's going to happen. So with that being said, that's literally all I have to say when it comes to my plans for 2025. It is going to be a less of an important year compared to this year, as in not trying too hard, but then again, we don't know what's going to happen for 2025 because I really don't want to up my game, and there were multiple video ideas that I ended up scrapping, but it's for the best. Keep in mind, I am still going to do fanfic readings of Steven Universe of the Creek and the We Bear Bells Canadian Freedom or Hibernation Heartstick fanfics when I get the chance, since that's mostly my safe zone. Even though that the Loud House, Luna Loud, and Lana Loud fanfic is still up into debate if I wanted to continue with that, but shows like the Loud House really burned me out, and I really got so exhausted to the point that doing videos of it just isn't really something that I want to consider for 2025. I do have a few episodes that I do want to talk about, which I did for one, and I'm going to consider on reviewing another for April Fools, but at the same time, I'm still considering on saving those ideas for a later time. When it comes to the people in the fandom, and I'm not talking about the other side of the fandom, because truthfully, I'm not against people who are part of the fandom, including people who want to keep the reputation smooth, but at the same time, that doesn't automatically mean that I side with those people who criticizes the people in the other side of the fandom, because unlike My Little Pony, I can't be able to take that criticism seriously because, truth be told, it's a criticism that doesn't really make the fandom better, because honestly, it just really makes the people who are hammering in on that doesn't make themselves look any better. As in, despite not doing those things, there's literally no reason to bring that up, because truthfully, I don't take those criticisms seriously in comparison to toxic people. I'm just saying, I just prefer looking at toxic people just expressing hardcore rather than people expressing weird people that don't go too overboard if they express those feelings in real life. Granted, I do want to avoid toxic people, but at the same time, it's me looking into those people that are a lot more important than the people in the weird side of fandoms. With that being said, that's all I have to say. When it comes to the remainder of 2024, there are 2 more videos left. When it comes to reactions that I might do currently, I might save it for January, because truthfully, it's literally the only way to have January get some kind of attention, even though it's also gonna be before I'm gonna be taking a break after Valentine's Half Month 6. I just really hope that you'll look forward to the ideas I have in store, because believe me, it's gonna be a pain to make 2025 somewhat good, even though it's not gonna be on the same levels as this year. As far as I'm concerned, I really need to take a break here and now, and there's a chance I might do a one video per week like I did this year. But hopefully, things will probably be a lot more interesting, hopefully interesting, once I get into the schedules for 2025. I'm Lonely Fanboy 48 here, and I'll see you with the rest of 2024.